Yes, then
Nigerians.
to an extension,
Okay.
the traditional institution
Okay.
from the Nigerian Council of Traditional Rulers,
Okay.
who was their national coordinator,
Okay.
as the Esunupe, Alaji Yaya Obakar. Also, they played roles outside the Esunupe, who happens to also be the chairman of the Crown Royal Initiative on Emergency Situation, a volunteer initiative on sensitization, education, and mobilization of people on the dangers of COVID-19, especially as that to do with social distancing, wearing of face masks, and other washing of hands, are also appreciative. Then also the Olofa of Ofa, Oba Muftau Muhammad Badamasi Okikiola, Ajagungbade 1, Esuwo second, the Olofa of Ofa in North Central Nigeria. Ofa is a town with history, especially when I listen to their Ijakadi history, where they normally do wrestling. So I think the effort of the Oba Mufuta Olofa of Ofa is also appreciative in the traditional institution. The Sultan, Sahad Abubakar II, also played role, because we got to know that he also uses emissary to sensitize and send messages. Above all, there are other traditional rulers from the South-South, from the Southwest, as well as other traditional institutions in the entire Nigeria that also played their roles. But the effort played by Esunupe, His Royal Highness Yaya Abubakar, cannot be overemphasized, especially the part of that Crown Royal Initiative on Emergency Situation that awoken some of the negligent attitude as well as ignorance among the unskilled class. Then also the Lagos State Governor, Sanwo-Olu, he also tried, being the first to establish a standard COVID-19 isolation and quarantine center. Then the private sector, like Alhaji Aliko Dangote, who contributed money, the likes of Elumelu, the chairman of Standard Trust Bank, the likes of Femi Otedola, banks like UBA, banks like Intercontinental, and host of other people from the private sector who also made their contribution. Then my colleagues, the gentlemen of the press, who, in spite of all the dangers, go to cover the presidential task force, goes to tell Nigerians the numbers of infected people with COVID-19, the ones that have died, the ones that have been quarantined, that have recovered, and host of others. Then also the effort of patriots like Abike Dabiri cannot also be overemphasized. Then also, like I said, Minister of Environment, Mahmoud Yakubu, who awoken his counterpart in foreign affairs when he was funded in area of trying to quarantine people evacuated from the foreign country. The entire members of the security agencies, from the paramilitary, immigration, customs, civil defense, Directorate of Road Traffic Services, especially under the tutelage of their workaholic director, Wadata Bodinga, as well as the enthusiastic FCT minister, then all the other people I mentioned, then also the bona fide special advisors to the president on publicity in persons of Garba Shehu Femi Adishina, then the workaholic admin officer to the president, Abdullahi Mekano, whom after the death of Abba Kyari, may his soul rest in perfect peace, acted as the acting chief of staff, is also wonderful. Then also the late Abba Kyari. In fact, he sacrificed to go to Germany to sign for one of the projects, Mambila project, which make him to die, because we know as Muslims, death is inevitable. But this is a selfless service Abba Kyari rendered to the nation within this COVID-19. It was the coronavirus that took his life. I pray that may his gentle soul rest in peace. Above all, I want President Muhammadu Buhari to name streets in Abuja after Abba Kyari, to also immortalize him. No matter what anybody will say, I have criticized Abba Kyari in different radio and TV programs, but the issues are, he's selfless. Like one of his daughters said, people misunderstood Abba Kyari. I think for how he laid his life for the country, service to humanity, President Muhammadu Buhari need to immortalize Abba Kyari, and if possible, let the federal government take care of his children. In conclusions, if I'm to say, Nigerians need to do a lot to abide by these standard directives brought by President Muhammadu Buhari. COVID-19 is real. A professor from Bayero University, professor of infectious disease, who also fell victim but later recovered, affirmed and confirmed that COVID-19 is real. There are other people like that communication chairman who was quarantined and recovered. Some were lucky, some are not lucky. We need the federal government to capacitate Federal Ministry of Health, Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, Federal Ministry of Police Affairs, Office of Secretary to the Government of the Federation, as well as other agencies that played role. You can see the wonderful things that the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology did by producing ventilators, like I said, by producing diagnostic test kits, by producing sanitizers, as well as face masks. Before, we don't know that they have this capacity. With all these agencies in Sheda, Kwali, and other areas that we have under the science and technology, with enthusiastic permanent secretary who is doing, because no matter what you have to do, permanent secretaries in ministries, they are doing wonderful job. And like I'm saying, other ministries also played role. We need to do a lot. Nigeria Immigration Service tried a lot, because at the point of entry, the officers are men under the tutelage of the Wakaoli Controller General. Babande, they also tried to ensure that people that are coming to the country go through the mandatory test and they are quarantined for 14 days. We need to thank everybody. COVID-19 is real. Collectively, we've been able to do that. I will not conclude without also saying that in the process of moving the country forward, we should not go by victimization. Because of recent, you can see between National Assembly Service Commission and the clerk of National Assembly, there was face-off. It's not supposed to be. Even in the civil service, we have it, where some people that want to make Buhari succeed, either in the position of PAMSEX or directors, they are being victimized for no cause. It is not right. It is an individual that made sure that in the 90s, the project for Kano Kaduna Road was approved. A first northerner that was in the Federal Highway Department in Lagos then. It was a northerner that ensured that National Open University dream came to be reality when the said northerner was assistant director in Federal Ministry of Education. It is a northerner that ensured that certain things came to be. So the issue we are saying, let there not be victimization. Let all the security agencies synergize so that this war against terrorism in Northeast can be buried once and for all. Nobody should tell us that the Buhari administration did not achieve. Before the coming of the Buhari administration, to go to mosques in Abuja used to be difficult. For our Christian counterparts to go to churches on Sunday used to be difficult. Even though we know that even after the success of war against terror, there was realization. A lot of the service chiefs and other officers and personnel, they became reluctant. That's why Boko Haram, to some extent, had to look at the rate of armed banditry in northwestern part of the country, states like Sokoto, Zamfara, Katsina, Kaduna, and kidnapping and other things. So I think the entire security apparatus needed to be overhauled. Buhari should it is not only service chiefs that does the job. There are other GOCs, air officer commandants, flag officer commandants, area commanders, commissioners of police, assistant inspector generals of police, and other lower officers that needed to be transferred. We need a complete restructuring of the security architecture. Police, constitutionally, they are in charge of internal security. We thank God, Buhari administration has approved the takeoff of the police trust fund. So now, in some time to come, the police will have no business complaining of funds. And thank God, a capacitated and experienced former Inspector General of Police in person of Sule Abba has been appointed, and Alhaji Sokoto, who was a former deputy governor, to make the department for the police trust fund to take off. So if it takes off, I think the police should be given better equipment, better training and funding, so that we can bury once and for all kidnapping and banditry and terrorism in the northeastern part of the country. Journalists that covered COVID-19 deserve to be given insurance and also be compensated, including you, the anchor person, whom I know have been moving from pillar to post to ensure that the propagation and sensitization on COVID-19 is realistic and achieved.